It's the new year and you're looking to get a new car. Then head to Toyota's We Make It Easy sales event to find incredible deals on many of Toyota's most popular models, like Camry, Camry Hybrid, Corolla, Corolla Hybrid, Prius, Prius Prime, and even Highlander Hybrid. You'll find great ways to save with low payment leases and low APRs, not to mention huge cashback offers. So see your Toyota dealer today. We make it easy. Toyota, let's go places.
Trabajar durante la pandemia es un reto. Tu empleador debe protegerte de COVID-19 en el trabajo. Si te preocupa el riesgo de contraer COVID-19 en tu trabajo, tienes derecho a presentar una denuncia. Las leyes estatales te protegen. Para más información sobre tus derechos en el trabajo y cómo ejercerlos, visita dir.ca.gov/COVID. Tu salud y seguridad son importantes. Recuerda, usa mascarilla, lávate las manos y mantente a 6 pies de distancia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Ghislaine Maxwell has added another high-profile attorney to her defense team in hopes of finding a way to wiggle off of this hook. When you have the sort of money that she has, and when you have the sort of access to the best attorneys, well, this is what happens. You end up adding a ton of attorneys to take your case in hopes that all of these great attorneys together can come up with some bullshit loophole to figure a way out for you. My question is, why does she still have access to her funds? Who is paying for her lawyers? Shouldn't all of her money be frozen? You would think that every dime of hers would be frozen at this point, so I wonder how she is paying for all of these high-profile lawyers. The lawyer that she added tonight, or recently, is quite the doozy. And that lawyer is Bobbi Sternheim. If you follow geopolitical matters, then you know that she was the lawyer who defended Khalid al-Fawaz, who ended up being sentenced to life for the Kenya bombing of the U.S. Embassy in 1998. She defended him, and that's where she got her claim to fame, I guess you should say. But she is a very well thought of lawyer, highly respected in her field, and she is good at what she does, according to all reports. But I don't think it matters, folks. At this point, with the evidence that's going to be presented against Ghislaine Maxwell at the trial, and I'm not just talking about the evidence from these 4 charges that we're looking at here. I mean these first charges that we're looking at here. I mean afterwards. There's going to be a lot more that comes out, and it's going to be real tough for Ghislaine Maxwell and her team of lawyers to defend her from the onslaught of truth. You see, because there's only so many ways you can wiggle out of something, right? When the truth is dropped in the lap of a jury, there's no way that they're going to be able to defend Ghislaine Maxwell and her behavior. If the circumstantial evidence is telling the story, this lady has zero chance of walking, of beating this, of finding a loophole, of having a technicality pop up that she can exploit. And I think that the prosecution most certainly has their foot on her throat, and they are pumping her behind the scenes. Now, I don't know if she's cooperating, if she's signed a proffer. I don't know any of that. I don't have that information. I'm just going on what we've been basing the whole entire narrative on up to this point, right? What is likely to happen now that she's in custody? A, is she going to give up other people to try and save herself? Or B, she's going to be closed-lipped, and she's going to take her punishment like a G. Yeah, I'm going to say she's going to take the Tekashi 6ix9ine route, folks. The Henry Hill route. They don't make them like they used to back in the day, right? And especially people like Ghislaine Maxwell. Everybody's turning state evidence these days when they get caught up in a criminal conspiracy. Never mind a quote-unquote socialite. Please. So I know that there's definitely more going on behind the scenes, and we've seen that from the articles that we've read recently about how the investigation is still active, how it's expanding, and how that these indictments that we see for Maxwell are just a part of an overall larger investigation. So there's definitely more coming down the pipe, and these people, like Ghislaine Maxwell, they're going to need all the help they can get. So if I was Sarah Kellen Vickers or Leslie Groff or Adriana Ross or Nadia Marchenkova or Indike or Khan, I'd be looking for my own high-profile lawyers right now. That's what I'd be doing, because guess what? The shit is about to roll downhill, folks. All right, let's check out our article tonight. This is from the New York Post. Author Lee Brown. Headline: Ghislaine Maxwell hires lawyer who defended Osama bin Laden's henchman. And again, I don't hold that against the lawyer. I think I've been pretty clear how I feel about that. Everybody in this country, in the world, in my opinion, is entitled to the most competent law help that they can find if they get themselves into a jam. My beef is not with the lawyer who takes on the client who is accused of heinous shit, right? That's how our system works. Equal justice under the law. So my beef isn't because of her clients, right? I'll never malign a lawyer for that. It's the way the system works, and that's just the way it is. Now, what I will have a problem with is the behind-the-scenes finessing of people like Dershowitz reaching out, using your connections to try and finesse the situation into your favor. That, my friends, is country club bullshit, and I am not a fan. But there's no hint that that is the way Sternheim conducts herself, right? That's not what I'm saying at all. But she is a pretty high-profile lawyer, and if you have the money to hire somebody like this is definitely somebody that I'd probably bring in too. Accused Jeffrey Epstein madam, co-conspirator, fellow child abuser, general all-around scumbag and bipedal serpent, Ghislaine Maxwell has hired a super lawyer who once represented one of Osama bin Laden's henchmen, legal papers show. Bobbi Sternheim filed papers Monday in New York's Southern District Court to note that she hereby appears as counsel for defendant Ghislaine Maxwell in her sex trafficking case. So she's an official part of the defense, right? Filed the papers, everything's locked and loaded with the courts, and she is now on the case. So Allison Moe and Company have a new foe to deal with. Somebody that is serious about their business, right? I think that Sternheim is probably a bit more of a competent lawyer than the other two, Everdell and Cohen even. And that's not a slight on either of them. They're both very competent attorneys. But Sternheim has been around for quite some time, and she has done some serious work. So she's a pretty stiff test, right? But again, there is only so much an attorney can do with a shitbag client like Maxwell. There's only so many tricks in the book, folks. Because guess what? The truth is a very, very heavy burden. And it is resting squarely above Maxwell's head and about to drop. Sternheim's law firm, Fasulo, Braverman, and DiMaggio, called her a recognized leader in the local and national criminal defense bar for litigating difficult and complex cases. Well, I think that this fits the bill of that, right? Difficult and complex. Most assuredly. I don't think it gets more complex than this, right? Especially considering they don't even know as a defense what the prosecution has. The prosecution's holding all the cards, the prosecution's the house, and the prosecution likes to win. She is the first and still only woman to get the New York Criminal Bar Association's Award for Excellence in the Profession. The firm boasts on her online bio. Again, big-time rewards, right? Big-time awards, a big-time lawyer. There's a lot of lawyers out there like this. Very powerful, great in the courtroom, and the type of lawyer that you really, 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 really want on the case, especially considering what she has been involved with, okay? And this next paragraph will tell the whole story, folks. Bobbi has tried international organized crime and racketeering conspiracies, international terrorism offenses, international telemarketing fraud, capital murder, and interstate transport of pornographic media. Her bio noted, saying she also holds top secret SCI clearance. So, this is a lady that has some clearance. But the most telling factoid, and again, what do I always say about that little nugget of gold? Well, this is another lawyer who specializes in racketeering conspiracies, folks. RICO, just like Everdell. You don't think they're preparing for something bigger? You don't think they're preparing for a big-time RICO smashola? Because it's coming. You know, like when the Incredible Hulk starts going ham and starts yelling about Hulk smash? That's what's about to happen. RICO smash for all of these clowns. Her most high-profile case, however, remains representing for bin Laden's henchman, Khalid al-Fawaz, in his 2015 trial over the 1998 bombings of 2 U.S. embassies in Africa that killed 224 people. And for those of you who might be too young to remember that was all pre-9/11, right? This was all leading up to 9/11 when nobody was taking Al-Qaeda seriously, when nobody was really taking international terrorism seriously within United States borders. It was not something that was thought about. The thought process was, not in America. That's something that happens in Israel. That doesn't happen in America. And the American authorities became lax. And, well, I won't even get into it, but that whole entire situation that led up to 9/11, this was one of the flashes for us, right? A flash into the future. When they attacked this embassy, it was, all right, game on. And we see the result of what happened after that. And that is her most high-profile case up to this point, was defending Khalid al-Fawaz. And I'm shocked that he only got life in prison and not a death sentence for that sort of crime. It was heinous. If you're not familiar with what the blast site looked like, jump onto the internet at some point and check it out. It was absolutely insane. Then U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, God, I cannot stand that guy, sorry. I don't mean to make a joke of his last name, but I just do not like him, said at the time that al-Fawaz played a critical role for Al-Qaeda in its murderous conspiracy against America. Sternheim said she was disappointed when her client, bin Laden's spokesman in London, was convicted on 4 counts of conspiracy and sentenced to life in prison. Well, yeah, of course, a lawyer is always bummed when their client gets convicted, right? A lawyer, their job is to make sure that their clients don't go to prison, that they don't go to jail. So it hurts their profile if their clients get hemmed up. But when you're a high-profile lawyer like Sternheim, it's a little different, right? Because the stakes are much higher. The stakes were life and death, and at the very least, she was able to make sure that he only got life in prison. Sternheim also represented other terrorists, including Ming Quang Pham, who admitted a plot to blow up London's Heathrow Airport and was sentenced to 40 years in prison in 2016. I have no idea who that person is. She is listed as a super lawyer, one of those recognized by their peers for their outstanding work and commitment to the spirit of the legal profession, the site said. So I guess the other scumballs in so-called polite society got together and gave her the nod of approval. Well, maybe we'll call that, when you're a super lawyer, maybe we'll call that the Dershowitz nod of approval, right? Because I'm sure Mr. I Kept My Underpants On has to sign off on that, right? I mean, according to him, he's the greatest lawyer of all time. He is the lawyer to be all lawyers. He is the chief of chiefs, the greatest person to ever litigate a case ever. Just ask him. Their knowledge of the law, professional work ethic, and advocacy on behalf of their clients allow them to stand out among other attorneys in the field, super lawyers said. Sternheim is not Maxwell's only high-profile lawyer in the team battling to get her off charges of conspiring with Epstein to sexually abuse young women. No, she has several powerful lawyers, right? Cohen, who handled the hearing, is a powerful lawyer in his own right. And Everdell is very highly thought of in his profession. An ex-prosecutor from the SDNY, a man that knows how to navigate himself a RICO case for sure. And if you think that Ghislaine Maxwell is not thinking the long game, if you think her law team isn't giving us a few hints here by bringing in more skilled lawyers who are prepared to deal with a large-ranging RICO investigation, then you're just not paying attention, folks, because that is exactly what's going on from where I'm sitting. This case is growing by the minute. This case is expanding by the minute. All that's left to see is how far the prosecutors go. All that's left to see is if the prosecutors and the Department of Justice are going to do their job. Because I can't see a bigger slam dunk for the office of the SDNY than the one that's sitting right here in front of us. Just from circumstantial evidence alone, it's enough to have a grand jury indict these people. And with all of the sealed indictments that we are not aware of yet, the people who are mentioned in those sealed indictments and the people who are going to be held responsible, well, I have a funny feeling that it is not going to be much longer before we see some more arrests made here. I think that the way the case looks, the way it's growing, the way it's expanding, and the fact that Ghislaine has brought in this other lawyer, Miss Bobbi Sternheim, at this point, I think it's a tell and it's foreshadowing into the future of what her and her legal team expect to come down the pipe at any moment. The question is, just how far is the prosecution going to go? And are we finally going to get RICO? If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. And like I said, folks, I'm backed up on the email. Give me some time. I'm not ignoring you. I'll try and get to you as quick as possible. And if you'd like to talk earlier than that, jump over to that Facebook page that I'm going to link and leave a message there, and we'll pick the conversation up in that thread. All right, everybody. I will be back later on with the Daily Drop. I hope you all have a fantastic morning.
This podcast is sponsored by Pat Live, a 24/7 live answering service that allows you to spend less time following up and more time focusing on your business. Every call is answered by a friendly, professional, 100% U.S.-based virtual receptionist. Pat Live offers fully customizable scripts and call handling experiences to fit your business needs. Now, for a limited time, Pat Live is offering 10% off your first year of service after a 14-day free trial. Visit patlive.com and make every call count. That's PAT Live.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. 55,000 episodes from networks like TLC, HGTV, Food Network, and more. If you can dream it, you can stream it. See what I did there? Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.